Dead Teenagers is a horror story about a 90s prom night. So I have to assume it's about me. This is my era. My senior prom, class of 93. So I have a lot of love for the 90s and thought this would be a fun setting for a book. The premise, though, is what really had me interested. Writer Jude Ellison S. Doyle brings horror credentials from his previous work at Boom Studios. Artist and colorist Caitlin Yarsky is Eisner nominated for her work on Black Hammer Reborn, and the letters for the book were by Becca Carey. Here's the setup. 5 friends on their prom night in 1997. They're stuck in a time loop, getting killed in bizarre new ways each time, until a scary element shows up, the Reaper, or at least that's what I call him. Then everything goes sideways in a way I didn't expect, and it sets up the rest of the series. The cover is by Naomi Frank, not Yarsky, but it's still striking. There's a painterly quality to it, almost a Stephanie Hans vibe. It doesn't really match the interior, but it works. Happy kids splashed with blood, a Reaper figure pulling back a curtain of darkness. What I thought was interesting is the bright white glint in the Reaper's eye, which is pretty subtle, that's echoed in the eyes of the kids, most prominently off of Alicia's glasses. Whether that's intentional or not, it's doing something thematically. Also, the 5th friend mentioned in the press releases is conspicuously absent here and throughout the book, really. So make of that what you will. Okay, let's dive into the book. The premise sets up fast. There's no origin story. You're right into it. You're dropped straight into the loop. And I had to get my bearings a bit. But there's more going on underneath the surface than the slasher setup suggests. A recurring element of the book is a computer prompt that appears after each death saying, do you want to keep going, yes or no? Seems simple enough, except if you think about it, the question is ambiguous. It's like, yes, keep going and reset and try again, or yes, keep going, let the deaths stick and move forward. Or, no, don't reset, or no, don't keep going at all. The character's relationship to the prompt is one of the bigger mysteries that the book sets up. The infinity symbol is another mystery to keep an eye on. It shows up in the computer program that seems tied to the loop in the Reaper's interactions with their dead as we go going forward. And then most subtly on what appears to be a CD in one character's Polaroid. How those are connected is intriguing. Our narrator throughout is Alicia. She's our POV character from page 1, which makes sense as she's called out as the one who never dies, except until she does. Her death at the Reaper's hand near the end is apparently what breaks the loop and sends everyone else forward in time as part of the twist. Everyone but Alicia, who we don't see in the future. So that's where this series is really kind of starting from going forward. One whine about the writing is character development. The cast is essentially set up as tropes, the hero, the coward, etc., which fits the slasher genre on the surface, but you don't get much more than that in this issue. The twist and some moments throughout suggest the author will be doing more going forward, you would hope, but this issue doesn't quite get there. It's intriguing enough for now, but I'll hope to see more as we go forward. The art from Yarsky is really impressive overall. The star is the color work, and she was doing both art and colors. In the quieter scenes between deaths, the color palette is bright but intentionally flat, without depth. But when the action hits, the color explodes, and she's lighting these scenes like a cinematographer with more obviously digital effects. The prom lighting with glowing orbs that light the whole page of panels. In some scenes, there's car headlights that cut through the dark. And in one in particular, there's a lit match at the end of a flat scene transitioning to the action, and it starts to transition as part of the page turn, which is really cool. Each one creates a completely different mood, and she nails all of them. The shift of color palette in the various scenes is also really skilled to reflect the lighting. Alicia's dress from the hallway to the prom is subtly different, but like in a way that's accurate to like colored, softer lighting. The character facial expressions are a close second behind the colors. They're subtle and nuanced in a way that's hard to pull off in a more cartoonish style. The one consistent weakness is the backgrounds. They're pretty simple and sparse by comparison to everything else, But honestly, they really only stand out in the quieter scenes. When the action takes over, you stop noticing. So where does Dead Teenagers land? The press called out serious 90s nostalgia, and there are elements there, the setting, the fashion, especially the colors, but it's not like a love letter to the 90s or anything. The 90s are really more of a narrative element than an obsession. But you still get a story that's got a clever horror premise with layers of mystery set up to be resolved as the series goes along. The writing has layers that I wouldn't have suspected for a slasher type flick, and Yarsky's art is sophisticated throughout. My verdict, and just as a reminder, I don't pull indie books month to month. I buy number ones and then decide whether to buy the trade when it comes out. Dead Teenagers is a wait for trade. The premise, the art, the twist kind of made it an easy call. Hopefully the characters get a little more development as the series goes along, and that the mysteries that they set up in this first issue all pay off. But everything I'm seeing suggests that it will. That's today's entry. I'd love to hear what you thought about Dead Teenagers #1 in the comments. Did the 90s nostalgia land for you? Or did you come for the premise and stay for the art like me? This channel is about building a community to talk comics, so I hope you'll join us. Like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.